Yo, welcome to Two Dudes and a Room, which is the only podcast you should ever listen to ever for all of your information.
We'll know if you listen to other podcasts, and we will find you.
We'll find you and correct your mistake.
Yes, the litigation will not be cheap. I'll tell you that already.
But I am Nathan, and I'm joined here by
Oscar.
I just wanted to thank people again who put in responses to our form in the description. We've got a question of the day here that was submitted by Anonymous. But if you ever want to submit a question, we'll answer it in the beginning of the episode, and you can check that all out there in the description. So, Oscar, what is our question of the day today?
So the question of the day is going to be, what were your most embarrassing moments? And this one, I had it's kind of a hard question to answer because you want to give something that's good, but because you're embarrassed of it, you wouldn't want the world to know about it. So it's kind of like, how embarrassing do I get? You know?
Yeah.
But I think we've picked out some good ones. Nathan, you want to start us off?
Yeah, sure. So I haven't had I've had moments where I did stupid shit, but when I think back to the most just sheer, pure, unadulterated embarrassment I've ever felt, shame, embarrassment, for some reason it's two things. The first one is when I started this podcast with you, because you're just so bad at comedy that it's just kind of
well, that's not true.
This is my answer. I mean, you're gonna let me?
Oh yes, I'll allow you to keep being wrong.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No, my two are, number one, I had this moment when I was a kid. I don't know why this hit me so much. I think it's the first time I ever felt embarrassment like this.
Same.
And so that's why it stuck. I was at the grocery store with my mom when I was 5 or something. And I had that moment where I lost her, you know? Mm-hmm. I don't know how I lost her. I think I just got turned around. And then I thought I found her again. And I went to go hug her. And it wasn't my mom.
Oof.
And so I was just hugging some random lady.
Yeah.
And I remember feeling so silly and embarrassed and being and I was fine. I found my mom pretty quickly. The lady was understanding and stuff, but I just felt so stupid, you know?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, fuck. And then the other time was when I was in band in high school. We had concert season and we were performing this piece. And I was given a timpani role. And the timpani, it's very loud and you usually have 3 or 4 timpani that you have to tune and adjust.
What's a timpani? For those at home who may not know what a timpani is, well, of course I know, but if you had to explain it to the viewers, what's a timpani?
What's that one song that's it's 2001 Space Odyssey, right? That's bum, bum, bum. Bum, bum.
It's either 2001 A Space Odyssey or also Ric Flair's theme song. Yes, but yes.
It's definitely Space Odyssey.
Right.
But when it goes ba ba, it goes bum 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 bum. Those are timpani.
Okay.
That's what that is.
Okay.
And they're big ass drum that's
gotcha.
They range from being 4 feet wide to 5 or 6 feet wide. And they're just these huge drums that they come up to, they're pretty tall. And they have a pedal on the bottom of them. And the pedal, you adjust it, and it adjusts the tension of the head on the top. And you play with these mallets that are cotton. They have cotton puff at the end. It's a really interesting drum. But you can totally tune it. So it has to be tuned to be on key with what you do. And I was really good at timpani for no reason. I could just tune them on the fly, and I was really good at it. But I had a timpani solo. I had that moment, the bum 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 bum, whatever. I had that little moment where the whole band stopped everything for me to do it. And we performed multiple times, and I always loved that part. I loved getting to have it. And one time I just really confidently fucked it up. I just confidently went in and definitely played multiple wrong notes and hit the side of the timpani where it goes bang, instead of the main thing. And the band just kept going.
Nice.
And I just was fuck. Everyone in the audience knows I fucked up. Everyone in the band knows I fucked up. I'm definitely going to get talked to after this. So I don't know. That I know they're not super crazy, but those are definitely some for me.
I've had that mom one happen to me before. Back when I was in elementary school. I don't know if you remember what it was like before school was dangerous, but they used to
It used to just be cool.
yeah. Used to let you out when the school day ended. At least for me, when the school day ended, they released all the kids, and you would go and you would wait at the pickup zone, and it was like a little sidewalk where the parents would come out of their cars and they would like kind of wait around looking for the kids.
There'd be like groups of kids and stuff
Right.
chilling.
There was a woman who from the back looked exactly like my mom, just like you. I got really excited, ran up and like literally jumped on this woman from behind and like startled her really bad. And then she turned around, wasn't my mom. I looked at her, she looked at me. I was like, wow, this is how do I don't
This is
I don't,
pure pain.
Yeah, I don't know how to exit the situation, so I'll just leave. And I left, and then I never saw her again. But yeah,
It
that
hits
was
you harder when you're young.
yeah.
It's just you just feel pure embarrassment.
It was really, really bad. But I have some funny stories that I like to tell. Like it always happens to me when like I'm talking to girls, right? I always get like super embarrassed because I'll do something. Do you have those moments to where you think back on life and like you just cringe at like how
Oh yeah, because you were just a different person back
embarrassing? Yeah.
then. Yeah.
And so, dude, I remember
Or the real potent one is when you see a picture of yourself
yeah.
from like middle or high school, and you're just like,
What was I thinking?
you're like, God, I wish that picture was deleted.
Dude, I have one of me with a mohawk because I thought
that one is legendary,
yeah,
bro.
I thought that having a mohawk would be really cool, and it really wasn't. And I walked around like that for a year, and it just
I had my
just-
first short hairstyle
just-
I ever
it just-
had in high school was imagine
dragons.
Guy Fieri without the frosted tips.
Woof.
That was my hairstyle when I went short. I was just like, I'll just grab a bunch of gel and just like spike it.
Yeah, I'll look like a Super Saiyan in this bitch.
And I had long hair before that. So I had acne. So I was just this acne-ridden, skinny white kid with like weirdly spiky, shorter hair. It just wasn't it. It like just
Right.
wasn't it.
Oh man, no. But this one, it's a little risque. I had this one time I was with this girl, and she invited me over her house. Her mom was gone, right? And like we were in there alone, and we went into her room, and she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna just change my clothes real quick, and we can go and like hang out, watch TV or whatever." And me, being the classy gentleman that I am, closed my eyes, and while she like changed in front of me, when like I think back to that, I was like, oh, she was definitely giving me like a
girl
sign.
wouldn't do that.
Exactly.
Obviously.
She was definitely giving me a sign, and I like literally put my hands over my eyes and like didn't look as this girl was getting naked in front of me. And like that moment, I'm like, dude, like what the fuck? Like what are you doing? And like I could just like see it from her perspective about how like fucking stupid I am, you know? But yeah, I didn't nothing happened. Yeah, and then like we went and watched TV. And so like I always think about that. I'm like, man, what a legend. What a loser.
She probably thought you were just like a gentleman, you know. She's like, oh wow, this kid is he's trying to be nice, you know. I mean, I'm sure she rolled her eyes a bit, but she was like, whatever, you know.
No, I mean, there was that time that I another time where like a different girl, I asked her out on a date to the movies. She brought her brother. And, and it's just like
I would have rather you just didn't
I would
come at
please
all.
just tell me tell me no.
Just tell me no.
Yeah, like that's fine. And then like and so like it's just like, oh, man,
I hate that. I fucking hate that. Like, I'm sorry. Just tell me no, you know? Like, don't make this awkward or like turn it into this situation that
yeah
I didn't account for. Like, if because if you just wanted this to be a friends hangout thing, I would have brought
Right.
my friends too.
Right.
I would have brought my homies.
Right.
And we would have brought, you could have brought yours, and we could have just
Right.
gone and done a thing.
Yeah. No,
But it's just me, and then you and your brother.
I literally can't watch Pacific Rim anymore because of that experience. Like, because that's the movie we went to go see.
Wow.
And like now it's just ruined for me.
Just
because
traumatized.
I always think about like, damn, she really brought her brother, bro.
Yeah, that's.
And she didn't even say like, because like I asked her out like earlier that week, and then it was like Friday when we were going, and I just show up, all ready, and I show up to the theater, and then like she's there with her brother, and I'm like, what? I'm like, wow.
like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
nice to meet you.
Yeah, and it's like it was like her older brother too, so he didn't want to be there, and like it's just like, man, wow, this is
No
This is fun.
one wants to be here.
yeah,
We're all here, and we're gonna be here for like 2 hours.
yep,
Nobody wants to be here.
exactly.
Let's just call it off.
Yeah, so it's just like, man, yeah, but those are like some of the really bad ones that I think back on, and I'm just like, it just makes me cringe. So I think those are two really good examples of like how embarrassing my life can be at some points.
Yeah, I'm lucky that I don't have more embarrassing moments. I mean, I've definitely been embarrassed several times in my life.
Yeah.
Everyone has, but I don't have any that really like that really stick out to me. I had a pretty embarrassing one recently though.
What was that?
It was like 5 months ago. I went to get a haircut, and the entrance to like, so it's like one of those buildings that has multiple salon studios in it that people can just rent,
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Right.
And they just pay like monthly rent, and they can own that little space. And so it's like it's got like a glass sliding door in front of it, and you just go in there, and their name tags are above the door. So there's like 30 people in there. They all have their own websites, and you just go to that place, look for the name, and then you found your person. And for whatever reason, when I was leaving, I thought that the door was closed.
Right.
The sliding glass door.
Yeah.
I thought it was closed. So I went to go. I'm trying to remember. I went to go open it. I went to go open it, and it wouldn't move because it was already opened. And then I was like, wait, what? And then she was like, oh, it's already open. You can go. And I just felt so stupid because I didn't look. If I just looked, it would have been obvious that it was obviously open.
Right.
But I just assumed because of my peripheral vision that it was closed.
Right.
And so I'm just going up to this obviously open door,
Right.
trying to open it when it's already open.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, it's closed. You're fine. And I just had to be like, okay, thanks. I'll see you. And just walk off. And everyone was like, fuck, dude.
I
That's
have,
embarrassing.
I have another good one that was like, it's like I would say it was either secondhand embarrassment or it was just funny. Back in the day, when I used to live with my mom, we lived with this one of her coworkers, and her coworker had like 5 kids, right? And they range from like my age all the way down to like I think he was like 1 or 2 years old at the time. And so there was like this 8-year-old kid who used to live with us, and my mom and her coworker we were going around looking at new apartments to to rent and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And we go to this one apartment, and it's like in this building that has it has like a sliding glass door to a balcony on the outside. And the lady's son, we walk into the door with the realtor or whatever, the people who are showing us the apartment.
Yeah.
And like the lady's son like looks, and he's like, oh wow, this place is like really amazing. And he's like, oh look, a balcony. And he runs full speed into the glass door. Bam.
Oh.
Bam. Like hits the floor. And I swear to God, that was like the funniest moment of my life. Like I'd never seen somebody so confident and just bam hit the thing. like the lady was like trying not to laugh, and they were like, you know, oh, are you okay and stuff like that. But it was like super funny.
Yeah.
And so your story just reminded me of that. When
Dude,
you just
I think I had one of those moments as a kid where I was like turned and laughing. I was like running because it's one of those stories where like you don't remember it because you're a toddler, but your brother remembers it. You know?
Yeah.
It was like, you know, there was a moment where I was in a hallway. I was in like my mom's house, and I was in the hallway, and I was like turned to look at my brother, like laughing as a toddler, running.
Right.
And I just smacked into the wall because I wasn't looking at it. I was like, ha ha ha, and just, you know, got wasted. But
I have one that I remember. We when I was a kid, I used to play outside a lot with you know, a bunch of neighborhood kids.
yeah,
And we were playing this game. I think it was like curveball or something, like curveball. Have you ever played that?
no. What's a curveball?
So it's curveball is like when you stand on opposite sides of the street, and you have to like throw a ball and hit the curb from one side of the street to the other.
Curveball.
Yeah,
I thought it was curve.
No,
ball.
curveball. And so you have to throw and hit the ball on the opposite side of the street, and you get a point, right?
Okay.
If you don't, what was it? Like if you miss the what's it called? If you miss the curb and it goes past the person, they can run and pick it up. And if you have to like run and touch the other curb and then run back to your curb to be safe. If they hit you in between that time with the ball, you're like out, you lose. And so they threw the ball at me trying to hit my curb, and it went past. And so I turn and like go full speed
To get the ball.
And like as soon as I was like, man, I'm gonna get him. And like I turned and I ran, and like as fast as I could. And the moment I turn around, I run directly into a tree. Wham!
Oh,
Wham!
that hurts.
It was like
Yeah.
a big oak tree that was like directly behind me. And so I went to go get the ball. I turned around, wham, right into the fucking tree. Yeah, and it was like in front of like the entire neighborhood, and they all laughed and made fun of me and stuff like that. So it was it was pretty bad.
I had one moment when I was like really young. I just learned to speak, and you know, my mom had made my brother. They were out or something, so he had to take care of me and like help me take a bath and stuff because I was a little baby, and fucking I, for whatever reason, I thought that. So I guess I won't tell you. I'll just tell you what happened. So my brother he's washing me off, and he puts soap on my hair, you know, and so I'm washing shampoo on my hair. And he's like, "All right, I'm gonna like pour water on you," and like, and I'm like, "No." And he's like, "What do you mean?" And I'm like, the soap's gonna get in my eye. It's gonna get in my eye. He's like, "Close your eyes."
What a little
And then I'm
bitch.
like, "But then I won't be able to breathe." And he was like, "Then how do you sleep?" And I was like, he just poured the water on me, dude. I just like was like, my whole logic was shattered.
Yeah.
And he just poured the water on me, dude. He told me that. I don't even remember that one, but that's a favorite one of his.
Yeah.
He was like, "Gotcha."
My what's like the worst what's like the most trouble you've been in as like a kid? What did you do to get into like
I got it.
really bad trouble?
Dude, I got a bad one.
Okay. I got one too in
I
the pipe.
I lied to my parents about how much money I was spending for how much of my lunch money I was spending. Because in high school, you would put in like a digit, you know, you put in a code. So where I went to high school, you had a lunch money bank account basically,
Right.
And your parents would have to put money into it so that when you go to get food, you just put in your like student ID number,
Yeah.
and it knows to withdraw from that account. So you
Right.
don't just have to carry cash on you at all times.
Right.
So I would spend more money than I was supposed to. I was like making
How much were you supposed to spend?
I think I was given like, I can't remember. I was buying like 2 lunches instead of 1, or I was like making it withdraw from the account or something. You know, I was like
Right.
spending a lot more. And my parents approached me about it, and I just lied for some reason. I would tell little lies back then.
Right.
So I was just like, no, you know, the system is fucked up, or like they've been having a lot of problems with their system for whatever reason when you put it in. Like, students have been reporting like sometimes it doesn't track their meals at all, so it just like won't charge them anything.
Right.
And sometimes it will like double charge or extra charge, and they're trying to figure it out.
Right.
And so I just had got him, I just had him on a lie or whatever. And one time I used to ride the bus home, and one time my mom called me while I was on the bus ride home, and I was hanging out with a friend, and we were talking, and they didn't know that, they thought I was a goody two shoes kid. I didn't cuss in front of them or anything, and I got off the phone with them, and I went back to talking to my friend, and they were like, "What was that about?" And I was like, "Oh, they were just fucking asking me about my lunch money, dude. I fucking tricked the shit out of them. I just buy that shit." And I looked down, and my phone hadn't hung up yet, dude. I didn't hang the phone up. And
That's your dumbass, bro.
And when I got home, I got my fucking ass whooped, dude.
Damn.
I was so scared. Like, I was so scared. She was like, "So what was this all about?" And I was like, "Fuck!" I got found out. They heard me cuss too. I said the F word, because that's like the worst one.
That's like the worst one.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and so I was like, "Oh shit, dude, I got in big time trouble, man." That was a pretty big one.
Yeah.
I got my ass whipped. Let's just say that. But they held that on me for a while. They like lost trust in me as a kid for a while.
Right. I had one where this is like I got like nuclear heat for this one. So when I was like little, I was probably around 7 or 8 when this happened. And my little sister used to be in the Girl Scouts. And so one year they chose our house to be the house where all the Girl Scout cookies were like, that was like the central area. And they would come and take the cookies they need to sell and sell them. And so but for me, it was just one day, my living room was in my living room. The next day, my living room was full of boxes and boxes and boxes up to the ceiling of Girl Scout cookies, right? And so I got like, and like back in the day, I was like, I used to be like a little mischievous. I used to like lie and like steal and stuff like that. And so I would go and like dead of night and like open like a box and like, or see like an open box, and I would grab like boxes of Girl Scout cookies and hide them under my bed.
Oh shit.
And
dude.
I would eat.
You got the mother load.
Dude, and I would eat like so many fucking, like the peanut butter, the peanut butter patties, the short cakes. I would eat like all the Thin Mints, everything. I would eat like a shit ton of Girl Scout cookies.
You were eating
at
good,
night. Bro, I was eating good, dog. I was just, and it was like for months or weeks that this was going on.
Yeah, they didn't catch you for a while.
My whole under of my bed, my
was
stupid
just like
ass was full of fucking Girl Scout cookie boxes, right?
Dude.
And my dumbass never thought to
dispose of them, or like
dispose of them, throw them in the trash, maybe one at a time or something like that. I had no clue what I was gonna do. All I do is I had this gold mine, and one day my mom goes to make my bed, and she pulls up. I was sleeping. The mattress that I was on at the time was like, it wasn't like a regular mattress. It was like a pad almost. And so you had to pull up the pad to put the blanket on. And when you pulled up the pad, it was like just metal bars that I was sleeping on.
So
right?
she saw right
so
through.
you could see under the bed, and you could see all the fucking Girl Scout cookies. And I remember when I got home that day, it was like, I've never seen her so mad.
Oh, shit,
like,
dude.
I'd never seen her so, she was just yelling at me and blah blah. I got a spanking from her. She called my dad, who this was when they were broken up. She called my dad, and he drove like all the way from his house, which is like 30 minutes to like an hour away, all the way down to whoop me again, and then told me
drove
like
30 minutes to an hour just to whoop you, dude.
Yes, and then he was like, and then they're just they were telling me how bad it was to like lie and steal and stuff like that, and like, I just remembered, oh man, I really did it here. Like, yeah, because I didn't think about it at the time, but like thinking about it now, they probably had to pay for all that. Sure. And like I ate a lot of fucking Girl Scout cookies, so it was probably not cheap.
It's funny how like you know, when you do shit like that as a kid, and you have that, once you're done getting your fucking ass whooped,
Yeah.
then they have that talk with you, you know,
Yeah.
when you're like crying and shit.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're fucked up. You're
Yeah.
fucked up. And they talk, they fucking have that talk with you, bro. And the only thing on your mind is, I'm gonna make sure not to get caught ever again.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. It's not, man, I sure am a bad person for
Yeah.
eating these Girl Scout cookies.
Yeah, I
it's
used
just
to-
like, God, I'm dumb. I got caught. Fuck. You know?
Bro, I used to when I used to get in trouble, I used to like threaten to run away. And like I remember I would always take my it was like, I'm gonna run away. I hate it here, whatever.
Yeah.
And I would take my fucking my stuffed animal, Mr. Bear. Yo, shout out to the G. Shout out to the G. Mr. Bear, for real.
Oh, dude.
I remember you. But
bro.
Mr. Bear, I would take Mr. Bear and I would just walk outside and I'm like, I'm out of here. And then like as soon as I walked outside, I'm like, where the fuck am I gonna go? I didn't even.
Now what?
Yeah, now what? And so I would like just hang out outside for a little bit, then
I
go
didn't-
back in.
I didn't have a Mr. Bear. I had a blanket.
Oh yeah.
I had a blankie, you know? Mm-hmm. And it was one that I had since I was like 1.
Yeah,
And
dude.
It was one of those white woven blankets. And I would like fidget with it, I guess, you know?
Right.
And I fidgeted with it for so long that I still had it when I was like 8 or 9, and it was like torn up.
Right.
It was like severely torn up to the point where it was more like just a wad.
Right.
It wasn't even like a
Blanket.
blanket anymore. It was just a wad, and I would always have to sleep with it and stuff. And I remember one night, I can't remember how old I was. I was like older than you should be to have a blankie, you know?
Yeah.
Or at least I felt ashamed or something.
Yeah.
And I remember having one night where I was like, I like said goodbye to it, you know?
No
I like,
more.
But I like it had like a personality, you know? I was like, goodbye, like we've had so much time together, you know, but I have to move on. I'll never forget you. And then I like put it in a Ziploc bag, a big old like Ziploc bag, and just like put it in the thing and just like ran into my bed and like tried to sleep. And it was like I was like all fucked up, and then eventually I moved on. But I remember having a blankie, dude. It was like I had to have it, you know?
Yeah. Mr. Bear, I kept Mr. Bear until I was probably like 10 or 11. I don't know. I mean, I had Mr. Bear probably since I was like fucking 3 years old, something like that. And then I don't know. I kept it until I was like 11-ish. And my stepdad like decided, he was like, man, it's not good for like a grown boy like to have like a bear that he you know,
Calls Mr. Bear.
yeah, that he like clings to. And so one day I just had to throw him away.
Damn.
And I remember putting him in the trash bag. Man, I was so sad.
Yeah, of course. 'Cause
Man,
you're
I was
just a
so
kid.
sad. That was like, it was like if somebody told you like, okay, you're too old for a dog now. Here, drown it in the puddle.
Go put it down.
Yeah, here's your dog. Here's a puddle. Put his face in there and drown him. And so it's just like, I don't want to do this. And then I ended up having to do it. And then yeah, but I still remember that. But Mr. Bear, he was a fucking that was G. Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. Mr. Bear sounds like the homie. I never was one for stuffed animals. I used to have, you know, I had a couple because like I would be giving them for like a birthday party or a birthday present or like a Christmas present or something. And they always would creep me out, man, because I would, I wouldn't like hold them or anything. I would just like put them in my room or like,
Right.
you know, have them up somewhere. And I would give personalities to everything when I was a kid. Like I would,
Right.
even like, things like even like objects, you know?
Yeah.
And I put it in the corner, and every time I'd like be laying down, they'd all just be looking at me with their black beady eyes made out of plastic. So it'd like reflect light, you know, and I just
Right.
see them looking at me, and I'd just be like, so when I went to sleep, I would turn all my stuffed animals and make them face the wall
Right.
because I don't want them fucking with my territory.
And then when you woke up, they were back the same way.
No, they knew to not look because
Yeah.
you know, they don't fuck with me,
Now,
bro.
if I was your older brother, I would have definitely went in there and turned them back around,
Oh,
bro.
for sure.
Oh my god.
Well, my brother was, you know, my brother was a 10-year age difference. So,
Right.
I mean, he moved out. He must have moved out when he was like in his late 18s or when he was 19.
Right.
So I was only 8 or 9, and then he moved out. And then it was just me. From that point on, I was the only kid in the house.
I see.
So I'm not an only child, but
It was like
it
your
kind of
own
felt
friend.
like it because
Yeah.
you know, as soon as after 8, that was it. But he was cool. I have really fond memories of like, dude, my brother got me on fucking GoldenEye. He got me on fucking Halo. He got me on fucking Zelda, Perfect Dark. Like, he put me on N64. I remember when he got a PS2, that shit was live as hell.
Right.
He fucking put me on Kingdom Hearts. He put me on fucking Burnout, the old school car games. Fucking Hitman, Devil May Cry, Rayman. And then dude, on God, one time I was at church because my family was pretty religious.
On God, I was at church.
On God, I was at church, dude. I was at church one time, and that's one thing I did get pretty early. My parents got me like a flip phone really early. Like, I had a Samsung flip phone when I was like 14, 13.
Wow.
And I was so excited. You know, it was one of the, like, there was like an app where you could make your own music. You could make your own ringtones.
Right.
It was like Brick Breaker, you know, Block Breaker. And dude, my fucking brother called me right when church got out on like a Sunday or some shit. And he goes, "Hey bro, guess what I just got?" I'm like, "What?" He's like, "I got a fucking Xbox."
Oh, nice.
And I knew as soon as I got home, there's gonna be an Xbox.
Right.
And I was like, "Fuck yeah, dude!" And we played the shit out of that thing, dude. We played so much fucking Halo.
Yeah, I remember. So like I said, I'm the oldest, but I have my mom got I had a stepdad, and he had 2 kids at the time, and they were both older than me, Dorian and Daria, and they were awesome older siblings. Daria was really cool, but Dorian was like, I was like an annoying little shit when I was younger, so I would always just like bug him all the time. And we would like, this is before I liked professional wrestling, but he would like put me in like holds and stuff like that, and just like I remember one cool thing that we did was we used to like pull out the mattress from off our beds, bring it into the living room, and he, in the couch that we had, went around the living room. It was like a sectional.
Oh,
and so
okay,
we would like jump off of the couch and onto the mattress, and like he would slam me onto the mattress and stuff like that. It was super fun. And like, but it would hurt. And
Sure.
so it would hurt a lot. And so I would like, you know, I'd cry and I'd like go to my mom and stuff like that. Like, and then he'd like punch me. And so like, but I used to play video games a lot with him. Like, that's where I got my love of video games from, because he had a PS2. And I remember he had like Sly Cooper. He had like,
I played Sly Cooper. I love Sly Cooper.
Yeah, he had Sly Cooper. He had like Dragon Ball Z Budokai 2.
Yep.
That was where I fell in love with like Dragon Ball. I fucking loved that game. Like, me and him would play that all the time. He listened to, like, he was just, it was just like, having an older sibling is just like so cool. And I'm glad that I had that, because if not for that, I would have never known what it was like to have like an older sibling. You know, if it was just me, like it would have been just me and my little sister.
Bro, look at this thing, man.
Yeah, dude.
Dragon Ball Budokai 2, bro.
Yeah. It was cool because it had a little, it had like a board game story mode. Yeah, that. And you had to like go around the map and like fight different people. Oh man, so cool. Such a great game.
You know, this is like Smash Bros. Now. Remember the World of Light?
Yeah,
It's kind of like that.
Yeah,
but they were on that shit back in.
They were on that, and then you had to find all the Dragon
2000s.
Balls. Then you can make a wish, and like those games, the Budokai games had the best intro screen. So if you like let the start screen idle, it would go into like this animation of like a fight, or like, you know, like it'd be like the show starting, and it'd just be really dope to see. And it had the best like electric guitar, and it was like and then so
This is the remastered
yeah,
version.
bro, it was just super dope.
That's cool, man. That kind of
And-
stuff is super, especially cool when you're a kid.
Yeah, and like they just don't do shit like this in video games anymore. So, but what was I saying? Yeah, so he used to do all kinds of stuff that I thought was like really cool. He was the first person to show me like he had a computer in his room, and he showed me like the stick fighting figures You remember that? Like,
Oh yeah, dude. Like armor games.
It was like
that?
Zhao Zhao or whatever.
Yeah.
And like that was like so cool to me. He used to listen to like OG Kanye West. Like the first time I've ever heard Kanye West was because of him.
Wow.
And so like all those songs and stuff like that, like it's really nostalgic because like I remember where I was when I first like heard it. Yeah. So I think it was, what was the first one? It was like College Dropout or something like that.
I mean, that whole album was
it was like the first
Good
one.
Morning
in that,
was good.
Yeah, it was the first one in that trilogy. And so like when that dropped, he would like listen to it a lot. And so like I listened to it a lot. And so it was just really cool to have that kind of relationship. But like we used to like do things like me, him, my stepsister, and my sister Regina, when our parents would like go out and stuff like that, we'd turn off all the lights in the house and play hide and seek. And it was just really fun. Like those days were just really fun. And like you just got to, I don't know, experience that. And so I had a really good time back then.
I had really fun birthday parties. I remember that.
Really?
Yeah, I had live.
I can't remember parties. A lot of my birthday parties. A lot of my birthday parties were just like Halloween parties because I was born so close to Halloween.
When I was in an apartment with my dad, he like, for my birthday, we rented out the whole apartment clubhouse.
Yeah.
The whole clubhouse, dude. And so we got the pool and we got the game room. There was like a theater room that had like a projector and like multiple seats.
Right.
And we hooked up the like PlayStation 3 to it and shit.
Right.
And then there was also my house, the apartment, which also had all my other game systems hooked up. So it was like an 8-hour long party where like you could go hang out at my house, which had food and stuff and like the games. And then you could like leave and walk to it was a nice complex. You could like walk over to the pool, go swimming. And then if you wanted, you could go watch a movie or play shooter games in the fucking theater room. And you could come back to the house. You could go whatever. And I was just like, for my birthday parties, I enjoyed hosting. Instead of just like being the special kid, I enjoyed like, I don't know. I enjoyed just like hosting the party and like I would go check on people and be like, hey, y'all good? Like, we got this stuff going over. I don't know. It was fun for me. It was just fun for me to host. I think that's why I liked the idea of like doing event organizing because it's just fun. It's fun to like host for people.
Make sure people are having a good time.
Yeah, I don't know. When people come over here, I like to like make drinks for people and like host and like make sure they're good and I like that kind of stuff,
Right.
Well, that's why Nick and I ran a fucking tournament, a Smash tournament that one time.
Yeah.
We ran like a proper Smash tournament with like, it was at a different place than this. We had like a big TV in the living room and then we had a really big TV in Nick's room. And Nick had a big room with like RGB under the bed and shit.
Right.
It was all hardwood floors throughout the entire apartment. And we set up a thing where the competitors would be in the living room. And to the right was walled off. So you could go into Nick's room or go into the kitchen, but you'd never be near the competitors. That way no one's bothering them. And then I had a capture card that ran from the TV in the living room into Nick's TV. And on Nick's TV, on his which was hooked up to his computer, I had OBS open with a bunch of like custom motion graphics I made for the tournament, which we called 3-Stock. Right. And I had like an overlay, so when you switched overlays, an animation would play with the logo and then it would switch. And all this shit that I made like a HUD layout with like the stock interface and like, contestants and what score they're on and all this shit. But you could watch the contestants in the living room in Nick's room. So Nick's room became the spectator room and everyone would go in there and like cheer and spectate and shit.
Right.
And like, get hype. And the contestants could just focus and not hear them. And then we had a balcony that connected both rooms. So you could go out on the balcony. My mom made like lasagna and like cobbler and shit. So there was food. There was like food for everybody. We bought like chips. It was fire, It was sick. And like, obviously the people who came were just like close, either friends or like people that Nick knew or stuff.
Friends of friends and stuff.
Yeah, it wasn't,
like that.
It's not like we had 30 people show up, but we had close to, I think like 12 people show up.
Nice.
12 or 16. So it was a good turnout. But I've always wanted to do that. I thought it would be cool to host another one,
Yeah.
I had, dude, you don't understand, dude. I I had like a packet for the tournament rules.
Were you there when I had that little Smash tournament in my parents' house?
Yeah, I participated. I only remember it because your friend who won was a Sonic main.
Yes.
And he fucking, when he won, he took his necklace and he was like, "You see that shit?" He stuck it in my, he stuck it in everybody's face. He's like, "You see that shit? Sonic, whoa!"
It's kind of funny that you lost to that guy, to me.
I mean,
now that I know how good at fucking Smash you are.
I was really bad at Smash 4. I was really bad at Smash 4.
Right.
I didn't actually own Smash 4. So I just didn't play it at all.
I see.
And so I played like Little Mac and like Lucina.
Did I ever tell you the story behind that party?
No, because Micah invited me to it. I just went over, you know. I was like, "Oh, it's cool."
So
because I don't think we really knew each other a
we
lot
didn't
at the time.
No, we didn't. That was back in like 2015, 2016-ish, right? So the story behind that, and this is, sorry, Dad, but I used to work at Pizza Hut, and I had one night we just got done working. It was like during the summer, I want to say. I don't think we were doing school yet. It was during the summer, and like we just finished working. My dad worked nights, and my stepmom took my little brother and sister back to Germany. So I would be the only one in the house until my dad came home in the morning. So one night I was just like, "Hey, you guys want to come over and we can play like Smash or something?"
Sure.
And I was like, you know, nobody's there right now. We could just come over. And we had we had like the whole, like it was like all of my coworkers. I invited Micah, and then he invited you, and I think Nick came too.
Okay.
And you guys were, you know, I was just like, "Please don't destroy my house. Please just like stay upstairs. We'll play," and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We brought home a bunch of pizza and stuff, and then we took pictures and stuff. I posted that on. I had like 2 Facebook accounts at the time. One that was like my family, like was on there and stuff like that, and one that was just my friends, right? And so I posted on the one that was just my friends, and then years later, I stopped using the family one and just switched over to the friends one, and then just invited my family onto that Facebook account.
Okay.
And so this is like years later down the line. Like we had that party, we cleaned up, and we, you know, everybody went home and it was fine, right? I didn't get found out.
Mission successful.
Mission successful. This happened in like 2020 or 2019. I was talking to my stepmom about something, and like I was scrolling through my Facebook trying to show her like a picture or something like that, and then it scrolled past that picture. It was like all of us in the living room, all together in the living room upstairs.
Yeah.
And she was like, "What's that?" And I was like, "Well, I guess, you know, the statute of limitations are up on that thing. I mean, I'm an adult now. You can't ground me." So I was like, "Yeah, one time when you were in Germany, you know, I just threw a party, you know, while you guys were gone." And they're like, "What?" And I was like,
"Here we go."
Yeah, I just threw a party here. You know, it wasn't too crazy. We just played, you know, video games and ate pizza and stuff. And she was like, "Oh, does your dad know about that? Where is he?" And I was like, "Oh, he's at work. I never told anybody." And they were like, "Oh, you know, I can't believe you do that, blah, blah, blah." And I was like, "Yeah, I mean, you know, it's just, you know,
but
the
good news is everyone didn't. No one damaged the house.
No one damaged anything. No one knew. Like, there was no evidence. So, I mean, like, you know, it wasn't that big a deal, but like, I got away with that shit." So,
damn, dude.
Yeah.
You pulled that off.
Yeah, I pulled that off.
Look at this shit.
Oh, snap.
I like made a full 7-page rule set.
Jesus
for
Christ.
Stalling, warm-ups, counterpicking, cheering versus coaching, tardiness, collusion, game rules.
Oh my God,
I had
dude.
game rules. I had starter stages and I had counterpick stages that were allowed.
What a nerd.
All this stuff, dude. I had all of it. I had the full TO thing, you know?
Yeah.
And then all the people who were playing were like casuals who don't play the game at all. And so,
Right.
you know, they're just trying to play Smash. And I come in there, all right. So the legal stages are Kalos, Smashville, Town and City, Battlefield. Winner, when you guys first start, you guys both need to pick your character. Don't counterpick. The winner of the game picks their character first. The loser gets to counterpick them.
Right.
And the winner gets to pick the next stage.
And like the dude's like,
loser
oh,
has to say which one they ban. And they're like,
I just
what?
like Luigi.
Yeah. They're like counterpicking. What's counterpicking? You know. So you know, if we had serious players there, it would have been
Bro,
cool
I talk
too,
to
but-
girls. I don't know what you're talking about right now, bro.
Yeah, it was cool. It was cool though. You know, it was cool. It was fun. I enjoyed it a lot, man. I would like to host those again just for fun, but you know, we need to get some good players. So you probably wouldn't be able to participate, Oscar. You could like.
I mean, I'm third best in the house. I don't know what you're talking about.
You're third best in the house.
Yeah.
Who's fourth best?
Well, I don't know. All I know is that it's like,
How many people are in the house?
well, I beat the last third best, so
you
I took
won a
that.
couple, but didn't he beat you
I
afterwards?
took that.
He three-stocked you
I
afterwards.
took that title.
He three-stocked you afterwards.
Well, yeah, I mean, every
took
dog.
that title back.
I guess every dog has his day, but you know,
Yeah.
it's just like
took the
no.
title-
I mean, when we were
Look,
I feel like that was an official call out match.
Let's put-
I didn't call
let's-
him out.
let's-
I was just having fun. Those
let's
are what are
put
those
this
called?
in pro
those
wrestling
are,
terms.
Those are friendlies.
Let's put this in pro wrestling
Yeah.
terms. If a wrestler gets a championship belt
Right.
because he beat the current champion,
Right.
and then
You're about to fuck up, but I'm gonna let you do it. Go ahead.
and then he's challenged in a proper championship match
Mm-hmm.
and has to defend his title,
Right.
the winner will get the championship belt.
Yes.
So you were challenged.
I wasn't challenged to
And-
I feel like I wasn't challenged to a title match. I was just, we were doing friendlies.
That is a convenient ass, John, because you
I
were
mean,
ju-
when
previously
I
you-
when
no,
I
previously
beat when
you were
I
just
beat
talking
him,
shit. You were just talking shit.
When I beat him, he called me out. He said that he was talking down on my name. You were talking down on my name.
I mean,
y'all all were talking down on my name.
You're pretty bad, and you were just
Yeah,
talking
and
shit
you
about
were
us.
yeah,
playing.
and I was talking shit. And I was like, you know what? I wouldn't do that. And like, I'm like that and stuff like that. And y'all didn't believe me. Yeah. Y'all honestly didn't believe me. And what was it? He called me out. He was like, hey, I bet you won't play. And I was like, dude, I don't want to play. I told him that. I was like, I don't feel like playing right now. He was like, see, now he's giving, Johns and stuff like that. And I was like, I can play, but I just don't feel like it.
And you take that as an official. We're challenging your title as a Smash player.
What happened is that he said, "All right, I'll play you, and if you beat me, I'll never talk shit about you again.
No, he said, I won't give you shit.
I won't give you shit again.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, well, I guess I have to do this now. I've been called out. It was kind of like a build up. Because you had done it, you had been calling me out.
But you know, Brandon wasn't playing good that day. Like,
I didn't know that.
And when he fought you later,
I didn't know that. I feel like that's a convenient John.
Okay, well then let's leave it out. Let's leave it out. When
I'm not playing good, I don't call people out.
That's not true. But when you guys played later, he beat you pretty solidly. And if he had prefaced it with an official call out, Mr. Referee, whatever you deem as an official call out, if he had used whatever terminology you deem correct, he still would have beat you, and then you would have lost that.
I don't know about that. It's kind of like
you are really you're a little bit misguided if you think that Brandon won't beat you in Smash.
I'm not saying that he won't. I'm not saying that he won't, but I'm just saying that like I was called out of my name. I was brought off the bench. I handled my business.
If you
how many times does
that have to happen, right? Where you realize that you might have just had let's say that were to happen 10 times and 9 out of the 10 times you lost, but that time you won, right? You would talk about this differently. Right now, because it hasn't happened again, you're able to sit here and go, I don't know, I was brought out and I did my thing. But if this,
gotta do it
you know what I mean?
sometimes.
If this were to happen multiple times,
I feel like
you were
honestly
to
the
lose
reason I
each time,
played
you
so
wouldn't be
well
able to-
that day is because y'all were talking shit about me, and I felt like I had to stop the. You know, there were some
should-
allegations going around about me
Oh
not being
my.
him.
I had to stop the allegations.
And I had to stop the allegations.
Had to squash those
I had
real
to squash
quick.
those allegations. I had to beat the allegations. I had to beat. I had to put the squad on my back and go to trial, and then beat the rap. You know what I'm saying?
in my opinion, you should play that hard every time you play if you want to improve.
Nah, man. It's just it's
Isn't
it's,
it
it's
fun
not that
to play that hard?
It is. It's not. I don't think that it's like I just don't feel like that sweaty about Smash, dude. Like that's just it. But we only have about 10 minutes left. What I did want to talk about before we got out of here is we did have another week of the Gambit, and I wanted to see how you felt about that.
Yeah. So the recent one, the rewatched was it was just the most recent AEW match. If y'all don't know what the Gambit is, go watch the previous episode. We've introduced it enough at this point. But it was decent. I mean, it wasn't everything you shown me so far has been better than the first one. But it was decent. It was all right. I liked the second one. Excuse me. I liked the second one more. With Kenny Omega and the Rainmaker.
Kazuchika Okada.
Yeah, the Rainmaker. I liked that one more because it was like a pay-per-view and it was like a longer thing, and I like Japanese. I think I like Japanese pro wrestling more than American pro wrestling right now.
Okay, that's fair.
Right now, at least from what I've seen, the very limited I've seen. But I mean, it was cool. It was all right to see. I still feel kind of meh about it, but.
Because
I mean, I'm starting to get more used to terrible choreography. It really takes a while.
I think we watched that, and then we also watched some clips of MJF, and I thought that you seemed like you enjoyed that more than the actual wrestling.
I did. And I just think he's a funny character. He plays an asshole pretty well. Like he plays a pretty unlikable character pretty well, I think.
Yeah.
Which in its own way is like a respectable achievement, and it takes dedication to be able to.
Yeah,
do
it takes a lot to do that like 24/7 all the time just to be the.
So that's
the
just
worst.
entertaining due to its own novelty.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So would you say that you have like a favorite so far, or like any people that you like?
I don't like Jungle Boy. I don't like Darby. I don't like. Oh my gosh, who's the third guy? I'm forgetting.
Sammy Guevara.
Is he the guy that teamed up with MJF?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't like Sammy. I don't like MJF.
You don't like MJF.
He's just whatever.
Okay.
I don't like. I think Hobbs is cool.
Powerhouse Hobbs.
Yeah.
That's weird. Why do you like Powerhouse
I
Hobbs?
don't
You didn't
know.
even, from what I have seen, we haven't even watched a lot of Powerhouse Hobbs.
I just like his gumption. I like his
I like his gumption.
Yeah, I like his outfit. I like his demeanor. He's just fucking Hobbs, dude. He's just a brick. I don't know. That's cool. I mean, I'm not like it's not like he's my favorite.
It's not your favorite, but like
But when
it's weird that you picked him.
I want
out.
him to win. He comes out, I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, Hobbs.
Okay.
That's about it. I mean, CM Punk is cool, I guess, but he's a little insufferable. He just can't get over himself. The biggest thing in his world is himself,
Yeah.
Not from an egotistic perspective, but just like all of his suffering and the biggest challenge in his life is just himself.
It's
And
funny. It's
it
funny
seems a
that you
little
say
immature
that.
in a way.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that because a lot of people think that, but a lot of people like have actually like watched CM Punk for like years and stuff like that. You've like watched one video about him and like that's what you summed up and you've like pretty much got it. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, I mean, pro wrestling characters aren't always that deep,
No, I'm not talking about like the character CM Punk. I'm talking about
as
like
a person,
the
that's
person.
that's him though.
Yeah.
He struggles with that, It's like he struggles to figure out where he fits in the world. He just needs to learn that, like,
Don't we all?
well, yeah, well, we all have to learn that,
Yeah.
like, you just have to fucking give yourself the acceptance you're looking for. I think he's
Right.
starting to learn that. Jericho's whatever. I mean, Macho Man Randy Savage will always be my personal favorite. He's
yes,
he's a hilarious character.
Dad, if you're listening to this, I showed him the cream of the crop video, and boy, was it hilarious.
The dude just did sleight of hand for no reason out of nowhere. Like I don't think we've seen any other pro wrestler do like sleight of hand like
cocaine
that.
is a hell of a drug.
Yeah, he was flipping around and turning out. That dude was high as hell, dude.
Ooh, you gotta be the cream of the crop.
And the interviewer, I guess I would say,
what's his name?
Completely compliments Macho Man because he's the opposite in every category.
He's a straight man.
Yeah, he's the straight man. He plays the
Mean Gene Okerlund, that's his name.
Yeah, his face is like just stone cold the whole time.
Yeah.
He's very grounded. He's like smaller and older.
Yeah.
He's just unenthused, and Macho Man's doing his thing and going crazy and spinning around in like this cartoonish outfit and shit. It's
right.
Interesting. Doing fucking like he does the sleight of the hand tricks to Gene or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's just like whatever. He doesn't even acknowledge it.
Yeah.
He just kind of looks. He's like, what the fuck, and then that's it. It's just good. Yeah, I like Macho Man. You know.
Yeah.
I like the older wrestling. I don't like this new wrestling.
Okay.
But what about you, my friend?
For
You've done quite a bit.
Yes. What was this week?
Well, the most recent thing that happened was you entered into. Well, first off, you need to tell people about how you got not how you got, but how you feel about the Moonveil Katana, because that's like your weapon now.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's good. I'm just not that big of a melee guy, really. So I think that it's, decent, but I want it to do more, I guess. I thought that to be honest, and I'm gonna be honest here, I thought that the laser part of it would be a lot cooler than it is. And I guess I'm kind of still new with the katana, so I'm still getting used to it and everything. But it's all right. I think that it is definitely not worth what I had to go through to get it. Beating that fucking lava dragon was a nightmare, but we're in there. We up.
There's pretty much no other weapon you could use right now that would do as much damage as that weapon.
Oh yeah, no, I'm sure.
So even though you say it's not worth it, it's literally the best weapon you could be using right now.
I'm sure that it'll grow on me if that makes any sense.
Well,
but
it's not meant to. It's not meant to like stand out.
Yeah,
it's not meant to like. It's just good because it does the most damage. That's why it's good. So, in that regard, you don't want to replace it, but we'll get you more spells. We'll get you that. Remember that hammer, the magic hammer spell, and like the grenade explosion thing. Like we'll get you spells.
Right. I think that it's it's going well so far.
You got into the academy.
I went through the academy. No, I had to fight that minor Elden Tree boss, dude. That was a fucking nightmare. That took me about an hour alone, just fighting him over and over again.
That took you like 30 minutes, but yeah.
Yeah.
It probably felt like an hour.
It felt like an hour, but like, I don't know. It's to the point to where like like things like that kind of like make me not like the game. But I did enjoy going through the castle and stuff like that, and fighting these different guys. Now we're on like the second boss, which I don't know what the fuck's going on in that room.
Yeah, he made it to Renala.
Yeah, I have no clue what's going on there. It's
to give you some context, he was completely out of Estus flasks and at half health, and he chose to avoid opening up a shortcut back to the main campfire, the main grace, and instead he chose to go into the boss room. And he didn't know it was a boss room, but I think he kind of had a feeling because it's like a giant door. And he went in there and was trying to like solve this puzzle boss, and it was at half health and shit, and it was just doomed. But at that point, he'd already played for a little bit, so we stopped.
Yeah.
But I mean, how are you feeling about it so far? It's different than you expected, huh?
Yeah, it's different. Like I said, like Elden Ring is like the best Dark Soul game I ever played. It's definitely not. I can see myself playing this game. I couldn't see myself playing Dark Souls.
Like,
It's
it
just so
wasn't even in the
boring,
ballpark.
dude. Like, I don't know. I don't like getting fucked on constantly. Like that's just my thing.
I like getting stronger and doing more damage.
But like I don't know. I think it's going well so far. We'll see how this next week goes. But yeah, I enjoy it.
Good. Well, let's see if you can use your brain and beat this next boss.
Right. But yeah, that's that. Is there anything else you wanted to plug? Or?
Yeah, put your fucking questions in the goddamn description.
Okay.
Yeah, fucking cup of joes.
Okay.
All right.
I feel like that's a little aggressive,
No,
but you know.
no, it is aggressive. If you're listening, go to the description and click the link. Do it.
He worked very hard on that Google Forms.
Do it.
So yes, just, please just go ahead and leave us your questions. We'll answer them on here. Another thing, if you're not watching it already, go check out Ocean no Ko. Pretty good anime.
Oh my god, dude! Don't plug an anime on our fucking show.
Yeah, I can plug it. Why not? Sue me. Yeah, go watch that. It's pretty good. It's like an hour and a half long first episode, and then like the rest of the episodes are like 30 minutes. So go check it out. Pretty cool story. I'm not going to spoil it here, but that's my recommendation. Do you have anything that you want to recommend to the people?
Yeah. Next time you make chili, if you ever make some chili, like some good ass chili, try it with some tortilla chips. Try like tortilla chips and chili. I think you'll find it's quite good.
Got to give the people what they want. All right. So that's going to be us for this week. We'll see you next week. And remember, you never know what anybody's going through. So be kind to everybody. And with that, I bid you adieu.
See ya.
Night.